welcome back to Alex Talking. It's a beautiful day here in Denver, and I just got out of seeing the Odyssey. And I'm so glad that my last day of work off before the All-Star break ends and I go back to working at Coors Field for the Rockies, I got to go see Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey, which is the biggest movie of the summer, let's be honest. It's his follow-up to Oppenheimer, and it is just scope and scale unlike anything I've ever seen before because it is, the biggest filmmaker in the world who makes the biggest movies in terms of scope and scale, tackling one of the oldest stories of heroism and one of the oldest epics we have in storytelling. And it's so cool that even though like Oh Brother Where Art Thou exists as an amazing adaptation of the Odyssey, as does the SpongeBob SquarePants movie, that this movie can come out and just be a definitive adaptation of the Odyssey, a one for one accurate. I don't know, accurate's the right word, but like depiction of those events and like just the way it was written, uh, just a telling of the Roman War. I think this is like the definitive one now, and it's just so cool to see this story be told on the big screen like this. I think that in a lot of ways, Nolan's going to be deserving of all the same Oscars that he won for Oppenheimer with this one, because the fact that it's written exclusively by him, especially, is super impressive. I mean, this is such an astounding screenplay because I read the first, I'm going to be honest, 50 pages of the Odyssey this summer because it's an extremely difficult read. And that's coming as someone who loved reading Wuthering Heights and diving into that before the movie came out and really disappointed me. But, anyways, I really enjoy reading these books, especially like classics before the movie comes out. And I couldn't with this one, it was too hard. And to see it adapted in this way, I think is just really, really damn impressive. And I think the acting and the sets and the cinematography and the score and everything is just top notch. The production design is just out of this world. And the costume design, like all those things will also win probably at the Oscars. Not that that's what it's all about, but it's just, it's amazing that a movie can be so entertaining on one side of the spectrum while also just being astoundingly impressive and a true work of art and like example of why films are art and like something to be enjoyed as such. I mean, it is just so impressive the lengths that like this movie goes to, because none of it feels fake or artificial either. It all feels so incredible, and it flies by at 3 hours long nearly. I think that Matt Damon in the lead role is very good. I think the cast is something interesting to talk about because you have actors here who are doing a really good job, like Matt Damon, or I would say another example of this is like Lupita Nyong'o, in which they don't like disappear into that time period, but you also aren't distracted by them. They're doing a good job. Then you have actors like Robert Pattinson and Anne Hathaway, and John Leguizamo, who you just see somebody in that time period giving an amazing performance. I thought that those three were the standouts and just incredible. Tom Holland and Zendaya and Travis Scott are the three that like I did just see those actors when they popped up. Zendaya I thought was interesting to give her this role because it's like, well, how's that not going to be distracting that that's Zendaya? And it's not a beefy role. There's nothing for her really to do. So it really is just you see Zendaya. I think that could have been just less distracting to have somebody else. And that is not obviously in any way an indictment of Zendaya's performance. Zendaya does nothing wrong here. It's just, oh, well, I want more out of that character because it's Zendaya. And that's just not what the story demands for. What the story does call for is Matt Damon being a very interesting character, and Nolan playing with a lot of the same themes and stuff that he did with Oppenheimer in that movie, having it be all about a man who put all his time and energy and effort into accomplishing a certain goal, and once that is done, being left with the ramifications of all of his actions and the regret and tumultuous feelings that come with such grand responsibility and decisions. and the deaths that can come with those decisions as well. I think that this is like a great journey movie. Obviously, it's the Odyssey, but it's also in a lot of ways the ultimate don't let your buddy take the wrong shortcut home movie, because like at a certain point it's like things just keep going wrong for these guys, and that's also the point because it's what they had coming to them for what they did. And while also like in a lot of ways it isn't necessarily applicable to the modern day by just always saying that it's like the will of the gods, but it's in the same way very much so a universal and um, like topical message of you reap what you sow and treat others as you want to be treated. And you know I think that line is pretty much even said in the movie almost outright. But yeah, I just think that it is so cool to see Nolan just doing such widely different things and crushing it every single time, like because this is his sword and sandals epic. This is his I want to make an epic and I'm going to do it in the biggest way possible, so I'm going to do the Odyssey. And he did it, in my opinion, nearly flawlessly. I think that this could even bump to 5 stars on rewatch. It is so entertaining, moves at a clip. I was astounded by this thing. And I'm going to say my two standout sequences as a horror hound. Alex, the horror hound, has to say that my favorite part was the horror moments. Mild spoilers ahead. I'm someone that walked out of the second trailer every time it came on just because I didn't want any story spoilers. So if you don't want anything spoiled, and I don't blame you, go see it. I'm going to say this movie is a 4.5 out of 5. That's why I gave it on Letterboxd, where you can follow me. I'll put that down below at Magnolia Fan. But yeah, just real quick to get into spoilers. The two horror sequences being when the witch turns them into pigs, and the Cyclops sequence, which is a very prolonged sequence, were both the standouts because it's like, wow, Nolan, please just make a horror movie. You really have the feel for the tension and the actual dread and horrors of being in awful situations were just articulated beautifully. I absolutely loved that and thought that that was such a strength, and just him flexing his storytelling ability and film craftsmanship to just throw these horror sequences in the middle of this epic, and it just all fits so well. Nothing felt out of place. It's a very adult movie, has a lot of crazy violence. Also, please stop putting Benny Safdie in like a role like that. Like, come on now. Agamenon looked awesome. He was like your Darth Vader, and then he like takes off his helmet. He's got Benny Safdie curly hair. That was so silly. But no, I thought that this was just beautiful, amazing cinema, top to bottom. Superbly shot, wonderfully acted, written poignantly, and had cinematography that is totally far and away easily, I'm able to say, the best of the year. It is just a stunning movie to look at. So this is the type of movie that they make to go see in the movie theaters, and I'm going to say go out and see it at the movie theaters because I'm certainly going to again before it's out. It's such a good time, just amazing cinematic experience. So that's my thoughts on the Odyssey. I'll try to do a Christopher Nolan ranking soon, and this is going to be in the upper half. I'd have to say it's very damn good, and I think most of those movies are. So let me know what you thought of the Odyssey. I hope you enjoyed it just as much as I did. And what other movies you're watching this weekend. Not any new releases probably because nothing wanted to compete with this. But yeah, just let me know whatever you've been watching. Thank you for watching this today. God bless and have a great day.